Hey Shooby Doodlers, well today we're going to talk about cartoon noses, and there are some pretty weird ways that they can be drawn. That's very simple. You can see them done in all sorts of different ways. Um, it and each cartoonist, I think, kind of develops their own way of drawing noses, and this is a favourite of mine, which is from a character of mine called the Ginger Ninja, who was a little pussycat. And it took me years to get this nose right. And in the end, I looked at lots and lots of illustrators to see how they did things. And I don't know if you know that illustration, the Snowman by Raymond Briggs, which they made into a movie. And he has a tangerine, the snowman, in his nose. And it was just the perfect shape, so I kind of stole that from him. So that's a really, really simple shape. And then some people might then kind of put little nostrils in there. And the thing that you will quite often find is kind of a carrot. And that is a pretty simple kind of shaped nose as well. Now, so far we have been doing really, really simple noses. We've been doing this L shape, so that's a backwards L. That's the way I always do it, but I think of it as an L. No, that is an L. That is correct. Oh, I don't know where I am anymore. And it's kind of slice of lemon underneath, and that's really, really simple. You can make it even simpler. See, I'm wanting to draw a line. You can make it really simple just by drawing a nose that you could use that very, very simple kind of nose like that, and you could use just a little curve as well, which is really, really simple too. And that works, I find, quite well with children. So if you're thinking of children, make their faces more round and put their eyes a bit further apart, and then just a little kind of squidge of a nose like that works well for children. Now, noses really are a very complicated shape, and if we think of them from the side, you're going to get different kinds of noses. So one kind of nose will be a bit hooked, like that. Another kind of nose, a snub nose, is going to be pointing up in the air, like that. I'll put an eye dot in there. So snub nose is going to be pointing up in the air like that. And a normalish kind of nose is going to be kind of like that. Again, there. Now, that's from the side. So let's think about how we can draw this from the front. This is going to be, because this nose is kind of hanging down at the front, you know, the bulb of the nose is hanging down, it will be covering the nostrils. So the kind of thing you're going to see for a nose like this will be something like that, and you may want to put lines in there. And I'm just putting that in there just to give you a kind of an idea of where the eyes and the mouth sort of fit. In a face, it will obviously be a bit smaller. So with again this really, really simple pattern of a nose, you know, it might just be like that. So it's almost a diamond that just doesn't join up at the top. And in an older character also, you're going to get much more lines sort of creeping around the side like that. In a child, then I think you're going to find that a little bit kind of weird. It's going to give him gives him a feeling of a very big nose in the middle of the face there. Now with a snub nose, so that's from the side, so from the front basically you're going to get that sort of shape, and the nostrils pointing that way. let's put that little face in there, but let's see how that works. Again, very simple eyes and eyebrows, and then you're going to want to have a little nose like that. And in some ways I always think that kind of looks like you've got the light shining up from below, like holding a torch underneath your face, to scare people, if you remember doing that as a child. This actually works quite well with children, because quite often children have a snub nose, and that sort of works really well, I think, with a childish face. And here that nose just makes it look so much older. Maybe it's because I made it so big. Now with a kind of a normal shaped nose, then what we have is these two kind of brackets on each side, and we want to do kind of a dot and then a fold back, and that's as simple as it gets. And so let's put those two bits in there. So let's put the eyebrows. So draw two brackets and two little nostrils like that, and that is very, very simple. And again, on an older face you'll kind of get more creasing going on there. You can make the more cheeks more identified by curling around there. And in a child, again, let's see what happens. Put the eyes much further apart, and that kind of works, I think, as a basic kind of nose. I think the snub nose actually seems to work a lot better with a child or a younger face, or a younger, rounder face. Now that kind of standard nose we can work on a little bit more. So if you think of the brackets on the edge, you can do these little curls, so you're thinking it's kind of like that, and again there. But you could take this maybe around there a bit as well, and you might want a little bit of blobbiness in there if it's quite a nosy nose, if you know, a pointed kind of nose. Alternatively, you might want to go and do something that will be kind of like that. So you're taking that in there, and then have more of a kind of a shape there, which is kind of more of a broken kind of nose, or a very accentuated kind of bridge of the nose there. You can do this whole thing like that as well, and you might want to do a bit more of a curl there, and a kind of a flatter, more African kind of nose would just be wider, and I mean that is hugely accentuated. Ooh, there we are. But some noses are very, very flat and very, very wide. Noses are extraordinary things. They come in all sorts of extraordinary shapes. This is just to give you a very basic idea of cartoon noses, and will basically give you a complete, you could probably get away with using just these for the rest of your life. But once you start drawing these, start looking at other people's noses and see how these relate to them. Look at people's noses. There's nothing like sort of drawing from life and seeing how other people's noses are actually put together. But this will give you a kind of a start to go and look at other people's noses and practice. Just keep drawing, keep practicing.